When the blitz is on, you need to protect your most valuable asset. That's why the NFL looks to Cisco Security, powered by AI, to protect their data from cyber attacks. When the game is on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
Morning. Like I always tell you guys, I always take this opportunity to speak with you guys, and really with the understanding that I'm talking to the players, right? I'm talking to the players. Obviously, there are things where I'm talking to the fans as well, but the message for those guys, like, it's all about the Jets, and we're moving forward. Obviously, there's a lot of noise out there, and I said, we are what our record is, and we have to get better, and that ultimately is my responsibility. And look, I take all the blame. It's fine, and it's moving on to the Jets.
With that said, your message to the guys, what kind of responsibility do you feel you need to take this week with this team because of where they're at and all this noise that's kind of around them?
Just continue to use this as an opportunity to get closer as a unit. It's not the first time that any of those men in there have had to deal with adversity, myself included. It's a time for us to get closer while everything around you gets louder, and hopefully we go out there and get a victory.
Jerod, is it harder for you to talk to your team now than it was at the start of the season or after the Bengals game?
Not at all. And I said, look, during a time of peace, I always tell those guys, like, remember what we say on day one when we get to day 100. And, I think consistency, especially in a leadership role, is definitely important. And for me, we get to Wednesday, at this point in time, we've always changed the page, win, lose, or draw. And that's always been my mindset, and that's my message to the team.
Coach, as someone who's always been a vocal leader on this team, both as a player and as a coach, when broadcast seems like really more you're like standing on the sidelines, has there been any thought to maybe like engaging more with the players? I know everyone's got different styles, but in terms of your approach?
I do engage with the players. I engage with the defense, and I would say I also have a headset where I'm flipping through channels talking to the coordinators. There have been times where I brought those guys up, and there have been times where I've let the coordinators or position coach do their thing, even though we've talked about it on the headset. So.
Has there been any consideration of you taking more ownership of the defense?
Look, DeMarcus is our defensive coordinator. Look, I have ownership of the defense, the offense, and special teams. That's how I look at it. Those guys are coordinators, but once again, ultimately, it falls on me.
Did you say anything more to the guys in light of your comments on Sunday that they were playing soft right now?
We're on to the Jets today. We've had those conversations. I've always looked at that as an opportunity to go out there and prove everyone wrong. That's how, and once again, going back to a chip on your shoulder, we've all had those chips on our shoulders at times that have gotten us through. And so this is no different. Obviously, once again, we are struggling as a team. Our record is what it is. It's about what we can do to get better.
What's the player reaction been to those comments, whether it was after the game or I know on the radio you mentioned it?
Look, after the game, we're all disappointed. On a long plane ride home, we're all disappointed. And again, it's about getting to Wednesday so we can now focus on the next target. And the guys have good juice, expecting a good practice, and we'll see how it looks on Sunday.
Would you want a reaction out of them? Like, in some ways, would you want them to get mad, for instance? Like, were you trying to do that with some of those comments?
Look, I'm just telling you, like, when I talk after games, it's about what I see out there on the field at that current time. In saying that, like, the guys are preparing like it's any other week, and we're talking about the Jets.
Are you concerned at all about the message getting through to the guys, whether it be setting edges and struggling to do that for weeks, or now, hey, we've got to stop the run, and 5 weeks in a row, 120 plus yards a game, 170 last 3 plus. Are you concerned it's not getting through?
I'm always concerned about our team. Like, that comes with the responsibility of being the head coach. And I would say if we were sitting here at 6-1, I still would be concerned with a lot of different aspects. So I look at it the same way.
How different is this challenge Sunday now that they have Devontae Adams on the outside?
Easy. I mean, look, he's a good player. Obviously, has a great rapport with the quarterback, and another week, second week, having him, I expect him to be more involved, even though he was involved the first game.
Jerod, going back to the playing soft comments, I know you said you're not coaching players to do that. What are you going to do this week to prevent that from happening again?
Look, all the guys understand. We've had our conversations. It's on to the Jets, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go out there and play good football. That's what we need to do in all 3 phases of the game.
Would that involve any kind of changes on the practice field or in meetings?
We always try new things during practice. Even going back to training camp, you always look for things that get responses from your players. Look, we're going to go out there. Wednesday has always been a work day for us, and I expect that to continue today.
You've got a real hard time stopping the run as a defense. What have you seen on film as a defensive guy that you think that you can change to get it right?
You know, I would say like the last few weeks, you know, you look at one game, it's the 3 big runs, and then you look at this past game, and it's the 4-yard, 5-yard, 4-yard, 6-yard, just the continuous, you know, like slow bleed. And you know, we have to do a better job, like getting off blocks and going out there tackling the ball carrier. And again, it's a huge opportunity this week to kind of get back on track.
Would you consider you guys still like a two-gapping defense?
I would say, like, if you look over the last, I mean, if you go back and watch film over the last 5 or 10 years, there are times when you are in a 2-gap mentality, but there are also times when you're in a 1-gap mentality, and that goes back to the game planning.
So the reason I ask is I'm wondering if when there are issues like the issues you guys had this past week or a couple weeks back, I think the last 3 weeks has been 185 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you have to think about changing, like, philosophically what you guys do in order to adjust, because you have had some personnel movement, you're missing some players? Does that change how you have to handle things?
Look, the players that we have in that locker room right now are the players that are capable and have done throughout the season, done a good job against the run. And once again, it's about just on a down after down after down basis. I tell the players, no matter what special teams, offense or defense, like, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what play it's going to be, but we just need to be sound on every play.
What have you seen from the run defense, the run game? I'm sorry, maybe why they've been struggling recently?
There are different factors. You know, I wish I can get up here and just tell you it's one thing. It's not. I mean, we need to be a balanced offense. That's what we need to do. And here against the Jets, hopefully we get that balance that we need.
You mentioned the noise at the beginning when you started talking. Are you disappointed at all that Bill has been vocal and has taken, feels like, some shots at this process?
Look, like I said, my main focus is the guys inside of this building, not only the players, but also the coaches and the rest of the staff. And look, as soon as we, you know, turn this thing around, then we'll be okay. It comes down to wins and losses. Like, that's what it comes down to, and that's what you're ultimately judged by.
Also, in regards to the noise, did you feel compelled to talk to the team about social media or make any changes?
No, you know, for me, it is what it is. Like, if you're winning games, there'll be noise. I mean, we've done this for a long time. It's very cyclical. You know, sometimes narratives are already written. It's about just a different cast of characters. And what I would say is, you know, we know that the only people that can go out there and win football games is not the media. It's not your mom calling you, telling you to do X, Y, and Z, or someone at the grocery store. No, it's about the guys that are in this building.
Jerod, does Jalen Polk have a concussion?
He's in the protocol.
Would you think about hurt or not with Jalen Polk? Does he have to see his workload reduced, in your opinion? Does he look like a guy to you that just needs like a little time away?
Yeah,
to get himself right?
you know, as he goes through the protocol, we'll address it at that point. Thanks.